Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors, your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. Glad to hear this morning. Got a big show lined up as always. I've never said we had a bad show lined up, so I will tell you a secret right there. Our weather brought to us by Hayden Technical Center at the corner of Baldwin and Highway 77, and they all getting ready to start back to school soon, but the road is still not finished. So that 4-lane in there, but we'll keep you posted on it because I know a lot of y'all go that Baldwin Road there. Now listen, weather is going to be hot again. We're in this little system we talked about where all week long these storms just popping up. And what's fascinating about watching these things in the summertime is compared to the winter or the fall. In the springtime, you get those fronts coming through. But in the summertime, they just pop up and come out. You know, the thunderhead and mushroom clouds and all just sort of really spread out. So you really can't get a pattern on them. Sometimes they're coming out of, this summer, a lot of them are coming out of the northeast. They're really sort of coming over that way. So just be aware of it and you know, understand that you got to get out of that weather because it all has thunderstorms and lightning embedded in them. So be careful there. Okay, a high today, like I say, is 89, 78 low, and the water temperature is still at 88 degrees. And like I told you yesterday, excellent time of year to go swimming in the Gulf. The water is just absolutely beautiful. River reading, take a look at river readings. Apalachicola Bluntstown is at a 1.9. It's below 2 foot. And the Choctaw at Carabelle is at a 4.9. It's below 5 foot. Both rivers are real steady, and it looks like the Choctahatchee is going to go up now. Yesterday we said it was going to go down, but you know, it changes on a daily basis. Tomorrow it might be different, but as of today, the Choctahatchee River will be rising a little bit for the weekend. All right, the tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn and Funeral Home and Cemetery. High tide, really almost in the middle of the day at 11:05, and the low tide is at 8:59. So we back to good tides, good strong tides. Last week, neap tides. We've got neap tides coming up another week or so. But this week and this weekend, really good, strong tide. So take advantage of it. Now you got an incoming tide in the morning, like we mentioned yesterday. So right here in the middle of the day now, it's going to be strong. Marine forecast, it's been a broken record on that. West southwest at 5 to 10. All right, let's take a break. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. Let's get started on our picture parade from Panhandle Outdoors. We're looking at a couple of, a lot of times I like to show you the email and then show you the picture. So this one right here, this is from Steve Williams up in the Funeral. Said, hey Winston, I was going through my website links and ran across this one. In the early 80s, we would drive down and play pool at the old Seahorse before driving into town to the movies. There was a corn laundry in one end, pool tables in the middle, and a burger joint at the other end. I miss the old places. Steve Williams. And okay, here's the place he was talking about, the old Seahorse. Some of y'all, I'm sure a lot of y'all remember that. It was way out at Laguna Beach. Laguna Beach, we used to say way out to Laguna Beach, but now it's all sort of all come together. But anyway, let's go ahead and move. I got a couple more pictures here. Let's see, you got a couple of messages coming through. We're going to skip them. But here we go, picture right here. We're looking at, we've talked about right here. Okay, this is Cody Bennett. He's in this Panama City fishing at the Bailey Bridge, and we showed this yesterday. Another drum. This is another drum, and I showed a really good picture of a drum being caught at West Bay Bridge yesterday. This is at the Bailey Bridge. I was showing it today. So I've told you, the black drum has been incredible this year. All right, good job there. All right, this next one here, let's see. This is a good one. I want you to read this one also. Okay, Winston, okay. At the end of an unproductive day offshore, the rain squalls were chasing us back in, and I said, let me hit just one more spot real quick before the lightning gets close. This one gave me quite a fight, and I sure hated throwing them back. This is Reed Smith, okay, retired general there. Okay, good job there. Look at that big old amberjack. One more cast. You always like to get that one more cast in, okay? I have a couple of pictures. It's amazing where we get pictures every day. Thanks to Reed for sending that in over there from Niceville. Now, let's go ahead and set up. I got a little short video. This is sort of, it's amusing and fascinating, and to me, this is, last week I had Kenny Bostic on the show as our guest. Kenny a great guy. I've known him for a long time. And Kenny talked about he had taken his grandkids out to the kiddie pool, and he grew up here. He was just amazed at how it has sort of deteriorated, and the rocks have sort of come down and all. And he went to county commissioner meeting, and called the Army Corps of Engineers, and so anyway, we talked about it on the show. Well, he got ridiculed a little bit by being on the show and sounding an alarm like that. So it sort of made him more determined than ever. So he got a buddy of his, and they went out this weekend with a drone to the state park, to the kiddie pool, and they actually got the drone. So I got this video from the drone. Now here's what I want you to do. I'm not talking through the video. Ken is not talking through the video, but I'm going to sort of tell you the course of it so you can go along and look at it, and you'll see at the end exactly what Kenny was talking about. Now it starts off looking toward the kiddie pool. Now Gail went through last night and labeled the area. So we're going to start at the kiddie pool and then go out to the beach and go south, which is along the main jetties at the opening of the jetties. And those big rocks are in good shape. You can see on the beach side, really tall, really wide, really good shape there. They're going to go around the tip and then come back down from inside the channel and go back down and then get back toward the kiddie pool, looking from the channel toward the kiddie pool. And what I want you to notice is how those rocks toward on the end of the kiddie pool, they are for a long way now, not just a little short way. I know at the end they always are down, but they've actually sank down and they've sort of deteriorated and spread out. And it's left gaps in there. It used to be just one or two little gaps, but now there's a long strip in there where it's nothing but just the water coming in and out. And if you recall, we've had 2 separate drownings within the past couple of years where people have sort of been just sucked out on a strong outgoing tide. I don't know if there have been lawsuits there or not, but it certainly would have been, an opportunity for one of these lawyers to jump on that, because that's the situation there. Most people aren't aware of it, so it's real dangerous there. So anyway, I'll watch this video and then we're going to come back, okay? So just watch exactly what I said, the route we took. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that. Hope it sort of informs you a little bit what's going on. And the big thing about it, none of us are experts at it as laymen. We're not experts at it, and just if you go there and fish and all of a sudden you're not expert either. But I felt for a long time they've sort of been going down. But since we're not experts, we're going to go to the experts who actually have an opinion on it, and they're paid to keep it monitored. So I'm going to show you this email right here. It says, Mr. Bostic, this is Army Corps of Engineers. Mr. Bostic, please see the Corps' response below. So I'm going to, right here, this is the email that the Army Corps of Engineers sent back to Kenny Bostic. I'm just going to read a couple sentences out of it, okay? Here you go. This is an issue I've been fighting for quite some time. We've been documenting the deterioration of the jetties for a while now and recognize they need extensive repairs. Do I need to repeat that? We recognize they need extensive repairs. The last maintenance was 1998. That's the last time they did any kind of maintenance. Now, don't confuse maintenance with dredging. Dredging goes on a regular basis, year after year, dredging, but maintenance of the actual rocks and all hasn't been done since 1998. So Kenny, I think, had a very valid point, and he just took it upon himself to go to the county commissioners all, and maybe they'll get the ball rolling. There's a long email back, but anyway, they do recognize it. This is from Waylon Register, who's a civil engineer. He's a site manager. So, you know, being a civil engineer, he's well aware of it, has records of it, and all that. So hopefully they'll get some of that done. So thank you, Kenny Bostic, for taking a step forward and doing that, okay? Now, I've got some more video. We're talking about different things and all that at the ICAST, and we're going, all these people I've showed you, I've interviewed and never seen them before. These next two guys you've seen before because both of them been on the show. I run into Fred Myers down there and finally found Drew Benton. You say I finally found him. What I meant, I looked for him about 2 days. I mean, I didn't spend days looking for him, but I'd go to the booth, to the big booth over there where he was at, the power pole, and he was in and out, in and out. Well, Drew has done an amazing job bass fishing. And when I talk about probably, I don't think it's a problem. I'm going to just say flat out, the two best fishermen from Bay County. In saltwater, I would have to give it to Fred Myers. And if you don't want to base it on anything else, anytime somebody can win 10 boats in a 6-year period fishing a redfish tournament against the best red fisherman in America, if somebody can do that and win 10 boats, I think they get the title of the best saltwater fisherman from Bay County. And you take a Drew Benton, anytime you get up in the Elite Series with the Bass Association, I mean, that's the pros. I mean, that's the big show. That's where everybody tries to get. He's not only up there, he's vying for Rookie of the Year, has a good chance to be Rookie of the Year. And you think of all the bass fishermen in America, and both those boys are from right here in Bay County. Fred graduated from Bay High, and Drew went to Moser, but he graduated from Rutherford. So two good local boys, good local families and all, just had a passion for fishing. I finally got them together down there, so we're going to do a 3-minute interview with these two guys. Let's roll this. All right, this is one of our last talks. We've been looking for Drew Benton for a long time. We finally found him the last day, the last hour. Drew, good to see you, buddy.
Good to see you.
Oh, Fred, what's y'all's connection?
Well, me and Drew have been fishing competitive tournaments in a different way for several years, or many years now, probably a little over 10 years. And for both of us, it's developed into kind of a big deal. Drew has just excelled this year on the Elite Series, and then of course I stick to saltwater, the redfish deal, and I won my 10th boat this year in the IFA Redfish Tour, and then Drew is in competition for Rookie of the Year on the Elite Series, and the most important thing is his first year on the Elite Series, so to do that all in 1 year is just phenomenal. And one thing I was intrigued about with Drew is he's got this new bait company called UV Tight Lines, and I just want Drew to show a little bit about it and tell a little about his experience on the Elite Series this year.
Basically, your average plastic absorbs UV light. The only light getting to your bait in the water is UV. It's 80% UV at 5 foot, and it's 100% UV past that. So basically, your crawfish, your bait fish, they all reflect that UV light in a way that looks more realistic to fish, whereas a normal plastic absorbs that UV light. So what UV has done is come up with a way to laminate their bait so it reflects that UV light instead of absorbs it. So it looks more natural to the fish, you get more bites, you catch more fish, period. The whole technology is patented. It's a bite on site technology, and it's available at all your local retailers and tackle warehouse.
And what's it called now?
Tight Lines UV.
Okay.
Yeah, we have various soft plastics from your craws, your beaver style baits, even saltwater. I mean, we have a wide array of baits for you to use, and they've really played a role in my success this year on the Elite Series.
You've really been successful.
Now, Drew, tell us a little bit about what you're doing this year and where you've been. And
You know, this year it started off great for me in Florida. Finished 4th at St. John's River. I've been able to kind of follow the spawn this year. I've sight fished for 3 events. That's a very, very strong way for me to catch them, being, you know, from Florida. Moving on to the northern swing, I've kind of dabbled a little bit in the smallmouth fishing, which is very, very fun. I mean, you catch those big smallmouth, they jump, you know, eye level with you out there in the water. It's a blast. And, you know, I've got a good opportunity next week. I'm going to get to participate in the first ever live bass tournament. It's a bracket style event. I get to fish against one of the guys that I grew up watching. Have tremendous respect for KVD, Kevin Van Dam, and we get to go head to head for 2 days in his neck of the woods where he's comfortable.
You picked out some pretty good competition for that tournament.
Well, I mean, that's just kind of the nature of the beast. I mean, when you're up here with these guys, you're going to have to face them. So it's that's just part of it. It's one of those stepping stones you got to cross.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yep.
Well, folks, we're here with 2 fine fishermen here from Bay County. We're so proud of these guys here, and always good to see you.
Good to see you.
Take care.
thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
All right, man.
Thank you.
Okay, welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that. Jeff just looked up the results of that tournament he fished against Kevin Van Dam. I'm going to go ahead and mention it now, okay? Remember that first round was just one-on-one, and Kevin Van Dam was ranked number 1, Drew ranked number 8. So Drew definitely was underdog going in. Kevin Van Dam weighed in 20.8 ounces, and Drew weighed in 5.10 ounces. Now listen, I know that's a defeat right there for Drew, but what an experience to fish against a legend like that and actually get the opportunity to do that. And you know, chances are that the next Kevin Van Dam might be our own Drew Benton. So congratulations on that. I just thank you, Jeff, for looking that up. Fascinating. Also, let's look at our fish and game times for today. Brought to us by Barron's Barbecue Shrimp Marinade. This morning, 106 to 306. And right after lunch at 1:31 to 3:31, remember we talked about it yesterday, that high tide will be around 11, about 2 hours later, we'll start coming in with that good fishing time. So that's good now, but we'll be watching for those thunderstorms. A couple things, I just jotted some notes down. FWC put out a long bulletin about that long on the chronic wasting disease in the deer population, and it's affecting a lot of states, and we'll get in that later when it cools down a little bit. None of us are doing that now. But if you are hog hunting this summer, everybody knows if you this heat and all, you really got, if you shoot a hog, you got to get that hog on ice right away. You got to ice it down. So the hog hunters know that, but don't trail it for a long time and it lay in there. Okay. Also, want to mention sturgeon jumping. Great opportunity to go out this summer and watch this sturgeon jumping. You can park behind on Highway 20 bridge around Ebro. Just park underneath that bridge there. And just it's an excellent place to watch them jump. You know, I promise you, you sit there within 30 minutes, you're going to see several of them jump, and it's really exciting seeing that. It's nature's own show right there, sturgeon jumping. And also one more note: the Bay County History Museum has opened up a new exhibit. It's going to be on the Bayline Railroad and the paper mill. That's 2 major industries in Bay County in the 1930s. The paper mill opened in 31, 32. And Bayline was part of it. So anyway, that's on 6th Street, and they have a display now open. So it's really fascinating to watch, to look at our history museum. That just opened that building about 2 years ago. And again, I've said for years, our goal personally, my goal personally is get a fishing display in there. And they're moving stuff around and doing it. It's not real big right now. Hopefully we're going to get a fishing display in there. And I have a lot of stuff that when I was researching my book, a lot of stuff I'd love to share with people. And I got voices from the old captains and all, play some tape recordings and show the pictures, some rare pictures and all. So hopefully we'll get that done. I know I look at the thing about the Bayline Railroad history is really special here because it was so important, not just the paper mill, it was so important to the fishing industry in taking those fish up to Atlanta and on, you know, just moving in the early years, getting those ice down fish up there to those different places. And we have our own, we had a train depot down there on 6th Street, and we didn't have the vision or foresight. Well, the historical people did, but the powers to be didn't have the perception to let's save that depot and let it be part of our museum. Could be sitting there right now with the same building and all, but they bulldozed it down. And I looked at different people, I know in West Gaston, where a lot of my family from, they're in Greensboro. They have saved their train depot remodeled it. I mean, shored it up. It looks like the original one from 1930s, right there in Greensboro. And that's the home of the West Gaston Historical Society. So kudos to them, and shame on us here in Bay County. But that's just what it is. I want to move on. We got a couple minutes. I was looking last night, dove hunting. We talk about dove hunting and all, and it's fascinating how a lot of us dove hunt from back in the day. And we now, back in those days, we'd just go out to a farmer's cornfield, and it wasn't anything managed or anything. We'd just go out there and just ask his permission. And he said, sure, boys, y'all just don't let the cows out. And we'd go out there and just shoot some dove on a Saturday afternoon. But those days are gone. But now, a lot of people manage the land. When I say manage the land, they plow the field and plant, do all kind of stuff. And I looked up some research last night and ran across this site at University of Georgia, and the universities in the original states and all, they have a lot of agricultural background as far as the teaching load. In Georgia, University of Georgia, Auburn University has a great agricultural department. University of Florida covers a lot of citrus and cattle farming, so a lot of those are done. So this one comes from University of Georgia on how to manage a dove field and how to just get it ready for it. And it's a year round. It's almost too much work for me, and I can see by looking at time, we're not going to have time to get into it, but I will start. They start in October through November, and which is right around the corner. This is getting ready for next year now, okay? Get the soil sample, and we talked about that before. Get your sample, and usually our soil is acidic. We need to add lime to our soil, so all around the Panhandle. So that just goes without saying, add lime to it. In November, you plant a third of it in strips, and this is something we talked about too. Planting in strips. The strips could be as wide as how much room you have, but with 10 to 30-foot strips for the length of the field, and then come back, leave that next strip open because you're going to plant something there later, and then go back down and make another strip. That's a strip planting. But I'm not going to get time to get much further into this, but it is a fascinating thing, and we've tried to do some of it. I know Walter had done some up his place up at Youngstown, and we had a good shoot there, so we haven't had a chance to do it since then. But anyway, we're going to talk more about it later, so we've got to wrap things up. As always, I know a lot of y'all headed off to work this morning. Make sure when you get to work, you just sit down and just relax and enjoy work. Enjoy the people you work with. Do something, good for your fellow man. Have good fellowship at work, and just makes work go a lot better when everybody's working on the same channel. Okay, so you do that. You have a great day, and God bless.
Thanks for joining us for Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors features hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.